Hi there and welcome to another Python video. In this video we're going to take a look at the enumerate function in Python. Now enumerate gives you a very handy way to keep track of the elements index that you are on when you are iterating over a particular data structure. For example, if you're iterating over a list of values, you want to sometimes track which index are you currently on while you're iterating, and you can do that with enumerate. So I'm going to define some test data here, people. Just a list of 3 people, and what I can say is for I and person in enumerate people, print I and person. Now let me explain what that's doing here. Now normally when you say for person and people, you get back just the person that you're iterating over. So the first time it would be Jamie, the second time it would be John. But when you use the enumerate function, which is a built-in function in Python, it gives you back a tuple containing the index that you're currently on, as well as the person. Now, this isn't necessarily an index, actually, it's just a tracker, and you're basically counting the number of times that you have looped over a particular list. So the enumerate function returns that index as well as the element, and you can then print it out. So that's why when I look at this, I see that the index 0 comes with Jamie, because that's the first element in the list, the index 1 with John, and 2 with Sally. And what you can actually do is sometimes it's useful to start from a different number rather than 0. So I can provide a start keyword argument to enumerate, and I could start at 1, and that would change this to start the count from 1, and then you can go to 2 and 3 and so on. So that's the enumerate function, and let me just show you a use case of that at the moment. That's a very basic use case. Imagine you had 2 lists. We have the people and we have the ages. So if I want to enumerate over the people, so I get the index with I and I get the person and enumerate people. And then what I can do is say I can print the person, because we're getting that from the loop itself. But we can also print the age by using the index that we've got there. So index ages I will give us the particular age from that variable. Now this is a use case, but it's better to use zip for something like this, but it's worth showing that you can use the I to actually serve as an index if you start from 0. Another thing you can do is you can combine enumerate and zip into a single call. So if I wanted to print these people and their ages out, I can actually do that with a combination. So for I and then person and age in enumerate, and then I zip people and ages together, I can then print out I. Let's use an F string for that. So I'm going to print out I, and I can then print out the person and the age. And what that'll do is it starts from 0 and prints out the person's name and their age, because what I'm doing is, first of all, we're zipping up people and ages into a tuple, which is what we get here. And then for each of those tuples, we're also getting a counter from enumerate, which is I. So that gives us 0, 1, and 2. And if we wanted to start from 1, we could pass, we could pass start equals 1. You can pass start as anything you want. You'd start from that value and you would get that. So that's a way to combine enumerate and zip together in order to get a counter as well as zipped data. And this is a short video, so as a final example, I'm going to show you how to maybe practically use enumerate to do something useful. So if I import the random module, and I can define a list of numbers, so that's going to be a list comprehension. I want a random integer between 0 and 10, and I want 10 of them. So for underscore in range 10, that just means we don't need to use the counter variable from the range. We just use an underscore. So that'll give me 10 random integers between 0 and 10. From there, what I want to do is I could loop over these integers. For number in numbers, print the number. Now you get back the numbers and they'll change each time because it's randomly generated, but imagining that this list was massive. Let's say it was 10,000 random integers. What I want to then do is I want to iterate over the numbers, and imagine that I wanted to print out the element every 1,000 times. So what I can do is I want to print out the element every 1,000 times. I need a way to track what index I'm on. So for I and number in enumerate numbers, I can say if I modulo 1,000 equals 0, I can then print out the number. Print out I and the number. So that will give me the actual number at every 1,000th element in that random list. So let me just go over this one more time. We're generating a random list of integers that is 1,000 elements long. Then we are enumerating over those numbers. We're getting every 1,000th element, and we're printing it out to the notebook. Now that gives us a way to have a look at the data at different points. What you'd commonly do, maybe you want to log out where you're at in a script, and you might want to check the index you're currently iterating over, and that way you can get an idea of how long that script has to go. But in this case, we're simply printing out the index along with the number that's at that index. So that's a way to use enumerate in a practical manner. This is a short video. If anyone's got any suggestions or if I've missed anything, please let me know, and thanks for watching. Bye.